Hello, everyone, and welcome to Grip Lock, Foundation Disc Golf's weekly podcast. I'm Hunter, joined as always by Konner and Trevor. Y'all just heard that as if I didn't stumble over how do I intro this podcast for 5 minutes.
No, dude, keep it in. Sometimes Hunter forgets the most random things.
I forget the intro.
He'll be like, how do we start this? And then we'll go do a monthly match and be like, how do we choose who throws first?
The monthly match, that we only do it once a month, and it's only on one hole. This I've been doing every week for
once
5
a month
years.
for 2 years.
Let me say this. You didn't ever, I think a few months ago was the first time you ever stumbled upon it like that. I remember, I think it was you got back from vacation or something.
Yeah.
No, it's happened before that.
No.
Oh, I had never heard it before that.
I know it has.
I don't know.
I know I've had to sort through intros on this show before.
Well, yeah, I've done it 2 or 3 times.
I think, that's what I'm saying. I feel like he's done it 3 times now in the past few months.
No, because it was when I got back from the beach.
That's the first one I ever remembered. Because I was always like, wow, Hunter just knows this intro. Because whenever I would host, I'd be like, what does he say?
Well, I mean, it's inexcusable for me to forget it because I've been doing it again every week for 5 years. And just somehow forgot.
Yesterday was National Ice Cream Day, guys. Hope you guys enjoyed.
Of course I got ice cream.
I went to Klein's.
But every day is National Ice Cream Day for me.
I ate 3/4 of a pint of Haagen-Dazs. It was delicious.
There you go.
Dang, man.
We had the European Open go down. It was the most unexpected yet expected major of all time.
Oh, wow.
We'll explain that in a second.
Whoa.
Then we have the Manufacturer Cup update. We'll have a little Trevor's trivia, and then I want to highlight some of the Junior Worlds because that also went down last week. Double major. Junior World Disc Golf Championship. And then if we have time, we'll get to a top 10. You know how that goes. But before we get into all of that, I want to thank the sponsor of today's episode. Spice up your disc golf bag with disc golf pins and patches. Disc golf pins are high-quality enamel pins that you can put on all of your disc golf gear and apparel. Each pin has a double pin back equipped, a double pin back. There it is. I was reading that. Double pin back equipped with a butterfly clutch to safely and securely attach your pins to whatever you choose. Disc Golf Pins also offers a fun and creative line of stickers, shirts, patches, and their newest disc golf game, Crazy Caddy Pro, recently featured on a Foundation video. With hundreds of designs and products to choose from, you can pick up the perfect pin and accessory to match your personality or support your favorite pro. Proceeds from your purchase will even go towards helping them on tour. So go to discgolfpins.com and start your collection today. Use code FOUNDATION for 20% off your order. Again, that's code FOUNDATION at discgolfpins.com to get 20% off your order. Thanks again to Disc Golf Pins for sponsoring today's episode.
Do it.
The European Open. Boy, was it something to behold.
Oh, boy.
So on MPO, we had Gannon Burr taking it down. Ricky Wysocki came in second, and Paul McBeth came in third. And then in FPO, we had Kristen Tatar taking it down, Silva Saarinen in second, and Missy Gannon in third. And FPO is why I was saying it was the most unpredictable tournament that produced some of the most predictable results. Because let me just walk you through. Actually, Konner.
Yes, sir.
You were obviously busy with family and stuff this weekend, so you knew Kristen won. But do you know anything about scores?
No.
This is going to be great then. This is going to be very fun because I want to play a Guess That Score.
Okay.
Hunter's Trivia.
So the monster in both MPO and FPO had kind of been pitched as you can't win the tournament at the Monster, but you can lose it at the Monster. FPO didn't really play out that way. MPO, we'll talk about how it did. But round 1, Kristen opened up, dominant round, 9 under. It felt like, there it is. Thanks everyone for showing up. This is over. She had a 4-stroke lead.
Okay.
Round 2, she slowed up. Lets Evelina back in. She shot a 1 under. Evelina, I think, shot 5 under, something like that.
Oh, wow.
But it turned into a 2-horse race.
Okay.
Evelina, Kristen, head and shoulders above the field.
Yeah, they were way ahead of everybody.
And then round 3 happens. Okay. And Konner, I just want you to guess Kristen Tatar's score to par. So 3 under, 6 over, 5 under, like that. 2 par. So you don't have to guess overall score, but what did she shoot round 3?
I'm going to go big.
Yeah. This is back at the Beast, just a reminder.
Okay.
So the Monster was the hard, tough, wooded track. Now round 3, we're back at the Beast, which is what they always play for the European Open. And you know she wins in the end. So keep that in mind too.
I don't know. I'm going to go 10 under.
10 under.
Yeah. Oh, no. I didn't like the way you emphasized under.
You're 18 off.
Oh, no.
She shot 8 over par.
What the heck?
She lost, what is that?
How much were they paying her to lose this tournament?
She lost
13
strokes to Silva Saarinen, 8 strokes to Evelina. And so heading into the final round, you had Evelina in the lead at 9 under par, Silva in second at 5 under, and then Kristen Tatar at 2 under. So Kristen was now 7 strokes back of the lead. So out of nowhere, you're like, what just happened? In the U.S. on the East Coast time, if you woke up even if you woke up at 5 a.m., these rounds were over.
Mm-hmm.
So you had to stay up till like 2 a.m. if you wanted to watch this thing.
Yeah.
So I would wake up and check my scores. And I was expecting, round 1, exactly what I expected. Kristen Tatar, dominant, okay?
Yeah.
Round 2, oh, there's her slow round.
Mm-hmm.
She always has 1. Okay, we're going to go to the beast. She's going to pull ahead, and she's going to win by 10 now instead of 15.
Yeah.
Okay, whatever. Round 3, I opened my phone, and I said, she needs surgery again. She's injured.
There's basically nothing more thrilling.
I feel like she needed CPR.
I saw 8 over, and first off, I saw Evelyn in the lead. I'm like, okay, that's not that shocking. I think she was 1 back. Okay, whatever.
Yeah.
And then I saw Kristen was 7 strokes off behind her, and I was like, and then I saw the 8 over was the third thing I saw. And when I saw 8 over, I legitimately just was like, Kristen got hurt. That was the only possible explanation, but that's not the explanation.
European Open is so fun. It's a bummer we don't really get to watch FPO live because of the time it takes place, at least on the, I'm trying to think, if you were on the West Coast, would you just be able to stay up super late?
West Coast would be midnight.
Yeah, so it might be doable there, but at least on the East Coast, it's really impossible.
But
you'd
still have to stay up till 2 a.m.
You have to be up late, but it'd be doable. Whereas for us, it's really not. But it is a very fun effect to wake up in the morning, check the scores, and just be bewildered.
Just be like,
time.
what did I just see?
Wait, but then I gotta know what?
You want to play the final game?
Yeah, what did Evelyn?
We're gonna play the final game.
I'm sorry,
final
Trevor,
round.
you were saying something.
Final round guessing game. So Kristen wins. You knew Silva came in second. You knew Missy came in third.
Because I still don't believe
notable name missing is Evelina from that top 3.
Oh,
what did Evelina shoot final round? They're back. They're at the Beast, so people can shoot a lot more under at the Beast. Keep that in mind. But what did Evelina shoot to shoot herself out of the top 3?
Beat him with that trick anymore because we heard the last score.
Well, I was just
he tried to sell the Beast again. Now remember, this is the easier, not the monster.
Evelina shoots herself out of the top 3.
Did she shoot 13
over?
Not quite.
Not quite.
Okay.
9 over. She ended up losing. So remember, Kristen lost 13 strokes to Silva round 2.
I wonder if this is a record for swings between.
Now, Evelina lost 14 strokes to Kristen final round to end up losing by 7.
Go down swinging,
Wow.
So Evelina had a 7-stroke lead over Kristen, and then with 1 round to go, she had 7 strokes, ended up losing by 7.
Yeah.
It's a crazy way to play
that
the
has
game.
to be one of the craziest swings of all time.
It sounds like a really exciting tournament, but for the wrong reasons.
It made you feel like honestly, I woke up feeling cheated. I was like, it's almost like none of this mattered until this final round because if you have the potential for 14-stroke swings, what in the world is the point of those first 3 rounds? Anything can happen. It doesn't even matter. You could go out there and jump putt across the course and then just play the last round and see what happens.
It was crazy. Yeah, so Kristen, essentially, the story of round 3 is Kristen was just off. Her putt wasn't on. She was throwing OB. She was getting bad breaks. She was having bad luck. All of it was kind of snowballed together.
Think about this. It's one thing when Kristen was only down, and I say only, but she was down 7, and then she wins by 7. But think about it this way. She could have been down by 13 strokes and won by a stroke.
Well, but not just
crazy.
Against Evelina.
Yes,
because
Silva that's what I'm saying. If the scores were lined up that way and had that same swing, it would have looked, I think, even more crazy to watch somebody be up 13. You're thinking to yourself, okay, I've got to hang on to this thing for 4 or 5 holes, and then I can lose every hole.
Yeah,
it's crazy.
Well, but because I think the other thing that is a saving grace slightly is that Kristen only won by 1, which we'll get into the drama of the final round now. But Kristen only won by 1 because if we would have woken up and it would have been, Evelina has a 7-stroke lead over Kristen in second, right? That would have been it, and there wasn't a Silva in the mix. And then the finals, you woke up and Kristen won by 7 over Evelina. It would have just been what the heck just happened? But Kristen still had to fight with Silva, so she makes this comeback. She actually starts par. Silva gains 2 more strokes on her and gained 2 strokes on Evelina for that matter to start out. And then it really is just Silva was scoring well out there. She just had a few too many blemishes.
Well, she took those 2 doubles in the middle what took her out.
If you go 6 through 12, she went bogey, birdie, birdie. Okay, double, birdie, double.
Yeah.
During that same stretch, Kristen went birdie, par, birdie, birdie, bogey,
all she had to
par.
do is make 2 bogeys instead of 2 doubles there, and she wins.
Yeah,
it's that simple.
But
that's tough.
she was still in it. If you come down the stretch, she's only 1 back going from that point on. She's 1 back of Kristen for 13 through 18. So it's not like this is I have to claw back into this. Yeah. She's right in it even after that double. but they just match, 16, match. So then 17, 18, 17, Kristen and Silva both just threw to like 45 feet up on the hill to the right, both laid up, take their par. We take this into 18. And 18's a bit deceptive because Kristen put herself in a really good position off the tee. Silva threw OB, and that opened the door where Kristen's like, I can now walk this thing in. But yeah, Silva, and really Silva's shot on 18, it just seemed like, in my opinion, just seemed like the wrong disc selection, or maybe some wind got it, because
tee shot gets into people's heads.
It came out really clean. It came out on hyzer. It came out on a really good line. It didn't look like she pulled it or anything. It looked like it just flipped more than she wanted it to.
Because wasn't it Dickerson who messed that tee shot up a few years back?
Possibly.
I think it was him who, because he switched the disc he was throwing off the tee and like left it too wide. I think it was
too wide, right?
Yeah, that tee shot gets in people's head because you're playing with that elevation and the landing zone.
It's tight.
It's pretty tight. So like, and you have all those trees to deal with. So like, trying to figure out what spot you're gonna pick out to like start the disc at, it's tough.
That's what, because Kristen just went forehand, and Kristen, to be honest, pushed the OB a little bit. She landed like within a few feet of the OB. Silva went backhand on a like turnover line out to the left, and like in my opinion, it looked like a great line. It looked like the great angle. It just looked like the wrong disc. Yeah. Now she might have been trying to go farther left and like play it almost like a forehand and expected the disc to do what it did, and she missed her line. But from where I was viewing, it came out of her hand, and I was like, that looks great. And then it just kept turning. And I was just like, come out of it. Because all it had to do was hyzer back, and she would have been in bounds, but instead it just kept slowly turning, just never came back. And so she went OB, and she went OB pretty far back was the other problem, to where it was basically over at that point. And then Kristen, back to back. This is also the first major that Kristen won this year. And, it is very, I think, the other big storyline here, because obviously we know how good Kristen is, right? Like,
she should have ran away from this tournament.
She should have, yeah. I mean, if she doesn't have that third round, then this isn't really.
That's the thing that still to this day, and I was saying this leading up to the event, but like Kristen is not invincible, and that's why, because she is as good as she is most of the time. She's still capable of having a horrendous blow.
But what I will say that is very important about Kristen, and Kristen actually highlighted this in her post-round interview, is she can have a round like that, and she still believes in herself to come out the next day and do what she has to do.
Well, wouldn't you? When the rest of your field does what they do.
But I'm just saying, it'd be very easy for me to go out there on the beast, shoot 8 over par, be 7 strokes back, and like have my confidence rocked.
I guess, but if I'm Kristen and I'm sitting behind Evelina, only 7 back, I know I'm saying only, but it's Evelina, and we know what she's capable of. And you're Kristen, and you've watched it happen over the last few years constantly. Yeah, I think I'm in if I'm down by 10.
But I'm just saying, like,
because you just got to meet him in the middle.
I'm not necessarily saying my chance against the field. I'm saying it'd be really easy just to beat up on yourself right there.
Well, sure.
Like just to go home and be like,
you'd be frustrated.
Like you just shot 8 over. Mm-hmm. You just shot yourself out of the tournament in pretty much 90% of cases, except for this one.
You definitely have to rev yourself back up a little bit.
And so to like get back on the horse, get back out there the next day, and then put together really, for Kristen, it was a scrappy final round, because she didn't just have to battle Evelina. She overtook Evelina, not relatively quickly, but I think by like 11 she had already overtaken her. But she was still in a fight with Silva.
Yeah, genuinely for me, the story of this tournament, as much as the Evelina and Kristen thing went back and forth, is Silva's failure to win that tournament, honestly, because I think it was kind of handed to her, even par in the final round, that just wasn't going to cut it. And then like she just needed to get rid of a few blunders, and she had every chance. So I think that's a real missed opportunity for her. But I think it's still positive to see that Silva is continuing to challenge the top of the leaderboard. I think she's kind of she's an exciting prospect we have moving forward. I'm
very much so.
I'm glad that we have that. She might need to take Henna's spot in the exciting prospects.
Yeah,
Henna's been struggling this season.
Well, because we got a little bit of pushback when we put. We'll go down to our top 5 here, right? We put Silva Saarinen as the second best player in the world, and we left Holland Handley out.
Yeah,
here's why. Okay, we did the FPO.
Yeah, why? Please explain why.
Because we did FPO. We did the FPO top 5, right? And we said on air, this is pure gut. Okay.
Pure gut. And look at that.
I think Silva Saarinen is a better player than Holland Handley.
We got the top 3 right from the European Open. Holland wasn't there, but hey, that's not our fault.
I'm just saying.
We're just the messengers.
People were saying, "Oh, Silva's a fraud because Silva hasn't went against Kristen.
Yeah,
she hasn't went against Missy." Well, she did at Champions Cup. She came in 4th. She just went against what might as well have been a full field and came in 2nd here. She's not a fraud.
Yeah, she's taking 2 seconds.
And so when I watch her game, and I watch Holland Hanley's game, I personally think Silva Saarinen's a better player. I think that Holland Hanley has more distance on her, so I think there's going to be courses where Holland beats her. But if I had to put money down week after week, every week, as to right now, who is the better player, I'm choosing Silva every time.
You're tripling down.
So that's why Silva's here, and you can say what you want, but that's why Silva's here. This is a gut check, and her performance here didn't exactly hurt my gut check because it made me go, yeah, I was right.
I mean, you can't argue with those power rankings because, we got the top 3 right.
Yeah, I think the only thing to look at now is Evelina. The problem with Evelina is
she's so volatile.
She has such a high ceiling and such a low floor that a player like Holland might beat her more often, but I think Evelina is more likely to win is the interesting thing there. But Holland wasn't there, so we can't even really say much.
The tough thing with Evelina, too, is she just didn't even throw the disc well.
In the final round, yeah. She did most of the tournament.
Yeah, I'm saying in the one that she blew up. Like, it's not even like...
Because I'm wondering if, the final round was enough. No, it still wasn't. Evelina Salonen still led the tournament tee to green by, a considerable margin.
Even with the final round.
Even with the final round. This is all rounds together. That's what's, crazy.
Yeah.
Is... Because if you go... Let's go just the final round. Tee to green. Oh, I should not have sorted by tee to green. Let me sort by round. Nope. Let me sort by place. Thank you. There we go. Because gained, tee to green, final round, Evelina Salonen lost 3.3.
Yeah.
And she was still led the tournament at 14 strokes tee to green.
It's insane that she how often does Evelina lose strokes on the field tee to green? Probably never. That's got to be so few times in her career.
Well, that's if we look at round 3 of Kristen, right? Then if you look at round 3 of Kristen, her Circle 1X putting was only 60%. That's pretty shocking for Kristen.
5. It's not good.
I guess she just didn't really have.
She didn't really have many.
But she is if you look at her stats, she just wasn't really in contention to lead in any statistic category. She bogeyed 44% of the holes that round. There's two very anomalies there.
The Beast course is a very interesting one because the greens are really protected. You have a lot of greens that have clumps of trees around them and such, and a lot of sloped greens as well, to where you could just, if you're just a little bit off, and we kind of saw this, we'll talk about it, but in Paul's final round, where if you're just a little bit off, you're just not going to get on the greens for birdie putts. And if you get out of position off the tee, some of the tee shots can be tricky. So many rollaway potential. It's a course that when you're playing well and getting the breaks, you can absolutely shred it. But things can snowball out there. It can be demanding whenever. It can feel like nothing can go your way sometimes because there's a lot of stuff to run into.
Yeah. Now, I sent this tweet out, and I'm going to just read you these responses because I liked this illustration here.
Okay.
I said, first off, I spelled Kristen Tatar wrong. No one told me that. So I just now read it. My phone auto-corrected her to Kristen Tartar.
Nice.
Sauce.
They probably thought you did it on purpose.
That that is true. Maybe I did.
Because you do call her that sometimes.
I didn't do it on purpose, but my phone just auto-corrected it. Anywho. So Kristen Tatar has completed the comeback. What a final round to claim another major victory. And then someone responded, I don't know how to pronounce their username. Kristen did not win that round. It was Evelina and Silva that lost that round.
Oh.
And
so
then
Kristen must not have gotten a trophy then.
Herniated DG responded back to them and said, and this is his illustration for the final round.
Herniated DG?
He said, when the crocodile eats you, it's not because you were a great swimmer that day, or it's not because you weren't a great swimmer that day, or because you blew it in the race for your life. It's because you were never as fast as the crocodile, and you weren't ever going to be.
Fair enough.
Heck yeah. That's an illustration.
It must be how Kristen feels entering those rounds.
However, it is easier for a crocodile to eat you whenever you just lay still.
Yeah, no.
Or whenever you open its mouth and you start to insert yourself.
But it's just it doesn't matter. You weren't out swimming that crocodile.
Yeah, you're right.
You didn't blow it, man. The crocodile was just always the better swimmer.
Yeah. But it does kind of feel like, in this case, the crocodile's mouth was open and they began to crawl in.
Did you guys see no disc golfers made on ESPN Top 100 athletes of the 2000s?
Heck? Seriously?
That list was kind of a fraud, anyways.
I will say they're the top.
I like to see any other athlete in any other sport do what disc golfers do.
Yeah, I didn't look at the specific order, but I agreed with a lot of those picks. I thought it was cool that they gave Michael Phelps number 1.
Yeah, no, I was fine with that. I'm trying to think. I thought Tiger Woods was lower than I would have expected.
He was top 10.
Yeah, but I just expected him to be higher.
Better on the list?
Yeah.
Yeah. Where was he? Was he not even top 5? Because if he's
I don't think he was top 5.
That's pretty criminal.
And I think it was more so people that were above him.
Well,
top 100 athletes. This is a grip lock tangent if you've ever seen one. Because you had Michael Phelps 1, Serena Williams 2, fine. Messi 3, LeBron 4, whatever. Tom Brady 5. Tom Brady, I think could go above LeBron James.
Probably.
Like that was the first one I was like.
They're pretty similar as far as longevity go. Like, they're honestly pretty similar.
Yeah, but look,
I would argue LeBron's a little more influential than Tom Brady, but that's mostly because basketball is just a more global sport.
Yeah.
But they're very.
Then you had Roger Federer 6, Simone Biles 7, Tiger Woods 8.
I think honestly of all of them, and I love Roger Federer, I would probably swap Federer and Tiger. Honestly, I'd probably have Tiger above LeBron.
That's what I was thinking. Is when I started scrolling down, is like when I first started it, I was reading it and I was like, okay. And then I saw Tom Brady. I was like, he should be above LeBron.
If they had put Tiger, if they'd swap him with Federer, I think I'd be okay with that.
Yeah, Tiger at 8, but then Usain Bolt at 9 was another one. I was like, I don't know if that feels right.
I mean, he's the fastest man in the world for like 12 years.
Kobe Bryant at 10, I was fine with.
Where's Joey Chestnut?
And then
there you go. Now we're asking the real questions.
Because Katie Ledecky, I also thought should be higher. Like, have you seen her world record list?
She will be though. Like, she hasn't been around it as long as anybody else.
But she's broken like every single record.
No,
you
she's
can ever
incredible.
Like,
but
if you look at,
she's still got another another 2 Olympics on her career.
Is it the 800 meter or the 1500 meter? One of them, if you look at the world records, it's all Katie Ledecky.
Yeah,
like she holds the top like
That's
10
crazy.
or 15 times.
No, by the time she's done her career,
Steph Curry above her.
Yeah, well, that's what I'm saying. Curry's at the end of his career, so his whole career has existed in the 2000s. Hers has not yet. That's where that comes from.
I don't know. Maybe it's just
but respect to Hunter for defending the swimmers.
The top 100, the top 100 professional
Hunter
athletes to me doesn't matter where you're at in your career. Like, you're a top athlete during this phase.
Well, I think you have to take somebody's career as a whole, and some people's are incomplete.
But has she ever lost?
Well, certain events, yes.
I don't know.
She's lost certain events, just not the one she specializes in.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, Steph Curry specializes in basketball. He's not won every championship.
Well, I mean, that's not really fair now, is it?
I don't know.
Because, like, if you're the fastest swimmer, you just don't
But here's
lose.
what we have to base it on, okay? Michael Phelps, #1 in the world.
Yeah.
Katie Ledecky, the female Michael Phelps, below Steph
that
Curry.
would be not true.
That's all I gotta
Because
say.
Michael Phelps won 23 gold medals.
Well, but his career's over.
Mm-hmm.
That's your argument. I don't like that argument is what I'm saying. Okay. It's like, because I think it's the top 100 athletes. It shouldn't matter if you were born in 2010.
If your career's over or not, he still has probably 3 times as many gold medals as Katie Ledecky. So
you're saying if he did the same amount of Olympics that she's done so far?
But it had 23 gold medals.
No. I'm saying I guess we'd have to look at opportunity of gold medal percentage win between Katie Ledecky and Michael Phelps.
Well, Michael Phelps, the reason why he is better overall is because he swam
I agree.
more
He
events.
should be #1 because he won 8
Ledecky,
gold medals. Was it the 08 Olympics?
The
or
difference
012?
with Ledecky is realistically 2 or 3 events are the ones she specializes in. Michael Phelps swam like every single event practically,
and he won gold in pretty much all of them.
Yeah.
I'm just saying.
No, he did. He went undefeated.
Your argument is that their current part should be in it.
I just think she's more dominant than Steph Curry. I think she's a better athlete of 2000s than Steph Curry in her sport.
I mean, I'm proud of you for that take because
I just think that. I mean, I think it goes even more. I'm a huge Steph Curry fan.
But also,
like,
we're comparing basketball to swimming.
We're not. ESPN is.
True.
We didn't make this list.
Because I would argue Steph Curry revolutionized the game of basketball.
But is that because I agree he changed how you play the sport? Does that make him a top athlete though?
Well, top. There you go. Completely subjective.
Exactly. That's if you're going to put out a top athlete. Because if you want to say,
do you know why they do that?
I feel like 10 world records would change.
Because realistically, if we're going based on how you change the sport, Steph Curry should be higher than LeBron James. Then
I think
that's what the thing is.
The funny thing about this list is, and because literally having this conversation we're having right now is perfect example. The reason ESPN posts it now is because right now, and I think it was like last week especially, was the most dead week of sports in the entire year. No football, no basketball.
All you had was the European Open.
You have some golf, and then you have like the All-Star break for baseball. So like nothing's going on. So they do that to just farm engagement. So what week do we need to pick?
We're on a disc golf podcast talking about it.
Well, no, that's what I'm saying. But what week do we need to pick to drop our top 50 disc golf athletes of all time?
Late November.
Yeah.
Because early December you'll start getting some chatter about the you'll start getting some chatter about off-season movements.
So that's going to be,
and you still have the that's right where high of off of it.
Dude, I think personally, the funniest thing to do would be to make it believable, but like a little ridiculous.
Well,
like Paige Pierce, like a few spots higher than Paul McBeth.
I personally think that's what ESPN did. I think they put out. I think they had their real list and were like,
Well, but
let's just switch the people around.
But also,
it
doesn't even matter what they do because you could arrange that list any way you want, and 50% is going to have a problem with a huge problem with a lot of it.
I wonder what would happen if you told AI to create a top 50 best athletes of all time.
Oh, should we have AI do? Let's just look at this really fast.
Because the beauty of
I'm gonna go top 10 disc golfers of all time.
The beauty of doing a top 100 athletes is even if you're talking about the person in 83rd versus 81st, people are really big fans of those specific athletes and are going to be like, how is so and so above so and like, it's crazy.
Okay, here's ChatGPT's top 10 disc golfers of all time. This is incredible.
How have we never done this?
I don't know.
Oh my gosh.
It's writing me a whole. All right, you ready for this?
I'm ready.
Do you want me to start from first down or
start it? No, you got to start at 10.
10.
Start at 10.
10's electric.
The number 10 best player of all time, best disc golfer of all time. ChatGPT.
All time. Okay.
Nico Locastro. Known for his passionate play and skill, Locastro has been a consistent top competitor in disc golf for many years.
If he could have held on a little bit longer, he just didn't win enough majors.
Number 9.
Okay.
Paige Pierce, currently one of the top female players with multiple world championships and numerous wins on the professional circuit.
This is crazy, the 9-8 here.
Number 8, Valerie Jenkins.
Controversial.
Above Paige Pierce.
Controversial.
One of the most successful female disc golfers with multiple world championships and a lasting impact on the women's game.
What's even crazier is that's the last female on the list.
Number 7, don't spoil it. Number 7,
it's just crazy to me.
Dave Feldberg. A versatile player who's been consistent.
What are you giggling for, bro?
Dave Feldberg above Paige Pierce
is crazy.
He's got
crazy majors, man.
Above Paige Pierce?
No, I wouldn't.
Paige Pierce is one away from Ken Climo.
I wouldn't have done it. ChatGPT might be sexist.
Number 6.
To think about.
I do think that if we do a top 50, we should just let ChatGPT do it.
Yeah.
Because that would probably create the most contentious list of all time.
Wait, what would okay, after this, let's try top 50 and see if it actually spits out 50 names.
Okay.
No, but we can also put on there our scientifically approved top 50.
Yeah.
But that just means we had ChatGPT do it.
Yeah.
Because
ChatGPT, all of the technology we have to analyze.
Yes. Number 6, they used Ricky Wysocki, dominant player in recent years, known for his putting prowess and multiple world championship
really
titles.
One more in here that's kind of crazy.
Number 5, they put Nate Doss, another player with multiple world championships, significant influence. Number 4, disagree with this one.
This one's crazy.
Disagree a lot with this one. Avery Jenkins, number 4, above Nate Doss.
Interesting.
Known for his strong all-around game in 2009 World Championship win.
One world title.
Jenkins been a prominent figure in disc golf. Doss has 3 times that.
He won one national tour and one world title.
I can't understand that.
Now, these top 3, I think I would be close to agreeing with.
Okay.
I would not put him with.
I don't know if a 3 would be here.
Not even close.
I think
he'd probably be in the top. He'd be in my top 10.
I think he'd be in my top 5.
But maybe top 5.
I think I'd put him in top 5. I'd have to see who's missing from this list. I'd have to think about it more. But
Calvin
number 3, Barry Schultz. Highly decorated player, multiple world championship, consistent top finishes. It seems like they're basically just using worlds.
Yeah.
Like he also has multiple U.S. titles, is where it's important for me. Number 2, Paul Macbeth.
Okay.
Modern day powerhouse in disc golf. And number 1, Ken Climo.
Very funny they put Climo at 1.
Climo at 1.
Yeah, they definitely use worlds pretty heavily there.
Yeah,
that's why Val is getting some. But Nico didn't win a worlds.
No.
So to be fair.
And Paige won more than Val.
Yeah. Yeah, I think Val only won.
It's an interesting list.
All right, let's just see who they put at number 50. Any guesses on who they're going to put at number 50?
Surely they're not going to do this. Are they actually going to list 50?
Yeah, why wouldn't
they?
Oh,
this is so fun.
Who do we think comes in at 50?
Okay, the first 10 was consistent, though.
Okay. Yeah, first 10 was the same.
We've got to, tweet this. This is so
Who's
funny.
number 50? Well, no, we're going to do this at the end of the year.
Number 50?
Who do we think?
Well, based on who I'm seeing already, it could be literally
Let me give
anybody.
you some hints, okay?
So it has to be world titles because look at who
we're
picking.
Number 15, we have Paige Shue.
Okay.
Number 12. No, because Nico's in the top 10 without a world.
Majors then maybe because he has a U.S. title.
Let's see.
But
only gave me 18.
12
it only gave me 18.
Oh, it only goes to 18.
The rest of them are behind a paywall.
That's lame. Oh,
I can only do 18.
That's so lame.
It only gave me 18. Well, who do you think's the 18th best player in the world, Konner? Because Trevor just saw it. All time best player in the world, number 18.
Number 18, all time best player in the world. Eagle McMahon.
He wasn't even on the list. They had
he wasn't even on the list?
Barsby and McCabe in there.
Sarah Hokum, number 18 all time. How'd
you
get her?
They're just
they
are definitely cherry picking the world title winners in there for sure.
All right, well let's talk about the MPO European Open right after these messages.
We're gonna have AI do the European Open talk.
So MPO first round, they were all about staying in the mix. This is what I was talking about. The monster at Tampere, I think is how they said it.
There you go.
Tampere.
Thank you. I heard it all weekend long.
Pop off.
That really was an MPO, just stay in the mix.
Okay.
It was how UC described it. We'll talk about 2 players particular this was true for, where you can't win it out there, you can definitely lose it out there, and there was a few big names that lost it out there. I'm not going to talk about it yet, but there's two main ones. So the first round was all about staying in the mix. Gannon came out with a 3-under round 1, 4 shots back at the lead. Then he set a course record at 9-under round 2, found himself tied with Paul, who went 5-under and then 7-under. So they were both tied in the lead after round 2. And then Gannon set another course record at the Beast with a 12-under round 3. What was crazy about these two rounds is there was a weather delay on Friday that actually pushed these rounds into the same day. So Saturday morning, Gannon woke up, course record at the Monster. Saturday afternoon, course record at the Beast.
That's a good
Saturday
day
was a good
golf.
day for
That's
Gannon.
a good day. Yeah, talk about get hot, stay hot. That really worked out for him. The 2 rounds happened there.
Well, it is for a player like Gannon, who is a momentum. He even said once I get the box, if I keep keeping the box,
his game
really
is
good,
working. It just doesn't stop.
Then
working.
it does benefit a young athlete like Gannon, B, a player who's very momentum heavy, to have that type of storm delay happen where he gets 2 rounds in a day and it's a day that he's on.
And when Gannon is throwing it well, you get the sense that he feels invincible. Like he
looked invincible.
He knows, okay, this is the shot I need to throw. I'm gonna throw this shot. Like it doesn't. It almost surprises him when he throws a bad.
Was it like that C-line FD? I think what it was. It was like half yellow, half red.
Yeah,
and he just threw that on everything. And he was not
it an
missing.
FD? Because he was throwing forehands with it too.
It might not have been FD. I just
Maybe
assumed
it was.
FD but it was whatever it was. It was a C-line disc that he just could not miss with.
Yeah,
he was throwing it all over the place. And so this led into the dream lead card of Gannon Burr in first, Paul McBeth in second, Ricky Wysocki in third, and Nicolas Antela in fourth for the final day.
It was a beautiful sight.
Crazy lead card. And Gannon did exactly what he needed to do. He came out the gates on fire, picking up 6 of the first 7, so he's 600 through 7, which made it kind of hard for Ricky and Paul to get momentum and chip away at him. Ricky, though, refused to go anywhere. Paul just never quite got anything really going in that final round. He played fine. It's not like he had a bad round, but he went par, birdie, par, birdie, par, birdie, par, birdie. But when you have a guy who went par and then routed off 6 straight, and then you have Ricky go birdie, par, eagle, he was watching other players do what he needed to, and it just doesn't feel like the course is going to give it to everyone that day.
Yeah, I mean, he honestly put together a fine round, but it just needed something spectacular, and you could tell he was trying. But these days, I'm not trying to write Paul off, but it just seems like whenever he's trying to pull off these wins lately, he hangs around for 3 rounds or 2 rounds, and then he gets to winning time, and it's like he's just trying to put his car into that next gear, and it's just not going there. He's trying to throw the spectacular shot and get the run going, and it just can't happen. And then something will happen. He made this awesome putt to kind of keep himself in it, and then the next hole goes right back down to nothing. It's like he just cannot get it moving anymore. Unlike Ricky, who when Ricky caught fire, he made that eagle early on, and he was just pushing. Ricky
had a very unique energy to him all weekend long. In round 2, in round 3, in a lot of these earlier rounds, he was showing final day emotion.
Oh, he was
he would hit a big
passionate,
putt, and he was fist pumping, raptor legging it in round 2.
He wants it bad.
You could tell he had his eyes on this tournament. He wanted this thing bad. There's one problem.
The multi-tool boys are back.
Yeah, the one problem was the construction crew got in his way. No, the one problem was Gannon Burr, the best player on the face of this planet right now, just refused to really give it up. And to Ricky's credit, he played an incredible final round. He cut it to 2 strokes on hole 16, stepped on the tee of hole 17. Very improbable 2-stroke swing, really, on hole 17.
Yeah.
With Gannon's putt going OB.
Yeah. That was it really
could have even been a 3-stroke swing.
It really should have been a just coast to the finish line. Well, first you have his drive, which was probably a 50-50 if it didn't hit the light post. It looked like it was definitely going to be up to the ground. Hits the light post, kicks in, you're like, wow, great break there, probably. And then he has the 30-footer, slams it off the band, rolls out. Or that one was banned, or was that one was cage? That one was cage. Yeah. He slammed it into the cage, rolls out of bounds. Luckily made the comebacker, so all of a sudden you had a tournament. But the thing is, Paul's biggest mistake was in round 3, making 2 bogeys down the stretch and giving Gannon some breathing room and some distance to where now Gannon can walk into round 4 knowing I just need to play my game, not give up any easy strokes early. If Paul could have gotten closer to him and really had him feeling him, and been able to really hole 1, maybe tie it right up and just kind of get himself into a duel, that would have been one thing. But trying to come from behind all it took was Gannon to have a good start. He did have a good start. I mean, he got 2 through 7, and then from that point on, you're just not really going to catch him.
Oh, but Ricky did catch him.
Yeah,
they were tied.
Yeah, he caught him.
He
caught one bad break, but that's what I'm saying. Like I'm talking about Paul's perspective.
Yeah, no, I was done with Paul.
Yeah,
Paul just never got it going. By like hole 10, I think it was. I was watching it because I was running a disc golf tournament, and people would like come up and ask me what was going on, and I think it was by 10 or somewhere in that middle of the round. It was like maybe it was after his double on 13 or his bogey on 13 to their birdies. It was somewhere in there. I was like, it's just between Ricky and Gannon now, and I was like, what can Ricky do?
Yeah, I felt like
even two strokes
felt like that. Yeah, a few holes in, you could just tell Paul didn't have it. He slipped on like 4 tee pads.
That was the other thing that was interesting.
What were his shoes?
Is Paul was the only one slipping, it seemed like.
Well, if you noticed, and on a few of these, Paul would slip, and then Rick would go up or behind him and do a shortened run up and plant on like the middle of the tee pad. Because I will say, some of the tee pads look pretty beat up.
They were, yeah.
But I don't know what shoes Paul was wearing, but he was slipping.
Yeah.
I mean, it cost him at least 2 strokes. Those slips, yeah.
Yeah, no, it was definitely a factor out there. It
mattered, yeah.
But probably through 7 holes might have been where I said it. At some point, I was like, this is over. Like Gannon can just put the car in neutral and let it ride down this hill because it looked like Gannon was in the mode of the day before where he was just like no one's gonna touch him, and Ricky just kept pushing, and Ricky just wouldn't go anywhere to where 18 all tied up on the tee. Ricky has the tee. He threw his drive into a fine spot, but it just was right next to a tree at the end of the day.
Yeah.
And so it was far enough from the tree that the tree was
I'm not
more in his head than anything, I think. But
I'd have to see that hole, like what it looks like from the tee, like in person. But like anytime you have tight I don't have a problem with there being trees, but anytime you have tight landing zones like that and you throw in those big bushy trees like that, it feels like it becomes a bit of a luck game.
Yeah.
Of like, do you end up just having to throw inside of a tree or not? Like, especially when you have shots that are landing and are going to move after they land, they're going to skip, cut, roll, and stuff. Like sometimes a disc just happening to curl up next to a tree or not just seems a little bit lucky to me. And I'm kind of like, dang, that's a bummer. Like you threw a decent drive. Like that's a tough way to put yourself in that spot, is just you just kind of curled up next to a tree or in front of a tree a little bit.
To me,
he didn't even go into the tree.
It was a very tough up and down that he had ahead of him. Gannon put it into a phenomenal spot. So Ricky was sitting there basically assuming Gannon Bird's getting up down for birdie. So Ricky's like, I've got to birdie to go into a playoff. Is more or less what had to be going on in his head, because Gannon, it would have taken big nerves. Basically, it was the only option. Gannon was not getting up and down there.
And he didn't even. I thought he was going to lay up.
He could have.
Yeah.
But if he laid up, it would have, regardless.
Or at least, I mean,
Ricky's shot, I thought he was still going to get up and down. It wasn't a difficult enough shot that I thought it was impossible by any means.
Yeah.
He made the one mistake he couldn't make, which was to pull it right. Because if he gets pin high and goes left, he then still has pressure on Gannon of like, you have to birdie to beat me because I have a 30-footer for par.
Well, and I think that's a big part of the reason Gannon didn't lay up, is because he knew, and you saw how the way he threw, he went like MD5 on that spike hyzer, but he knew if he misses left, he still has a putt for par. So that's where laying up doesn't really make that much sense in the hole. Probably, I don't know. I don't know if I like the way that plays, but yeah, Rick, they kind of were like, okay, it should be pretty uncomfortable. When I saw him practice his run-up, though, because, like, Ricky, some guys you just know are going to struggle with having a shortened run-up. Rick is not that player.
No.
He already is pretty compact on the tee. So I saw him do his practice run-up, and I was like, I don't really think it's going to be a big deal for him.
I didn't think so either.
And it came out of his hand, typical disc golf, they show us, like, the face-on view, which is so stupid. Like, I don't even know where the disc is in relation to the basket right now. So when it came out of his hand, I was kind of like, okay.
It just seemed like it had good power.
Pretty confident. Like, looks like a good angle. And then, of course, it runs into the stage. Thanks again, sick camera angle, guys.
When they showed the replay from behind.
Yeah, then I could tell what happened.
Then he just... Really what it seemed was that he was... I think it got in his head that he wasn't going to have his lower body.
He tried to overarm it.
So he tried to use all upper body.
Super typical miss.
When in reality, his lower body was in it.
And really...
Which then led to a wide pull.
Yeah, I say, and really what you have to do in that situation, and it's tough, but you have to anticipate that and throw a higher shot with something more overstable, so you're protecting. If I pull it, the disc is going to have time to fight back, because he threw kind of a lower shot, and it was also uphill, but... yeah. Hey, maybe if the stage wasn't there, he would have skipped back in bounds. But it is.
Maybe, but it is. It was there for all their practice rounds.
Yeah.
Definitely part of the course. So Gannon absolutely pinned it. had a drop-in, stress-free birdie to take home his first European Open, his first time ever playing it.
Yeah.
I really thought that down the stretch, when he got tied for the lead at the Monster, I really thought experience was going to be in Paul and Ricky's favor at the Beast. But it turns out
Gannon just doesn't matter.
Gannon is just unreal, and that course, if you're hitting your lines, it's kind of easy.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
If you're
and
putting
no
the disc
wind.
in play,
No wind at all.
if you're putting the disc in play, like that course is so scoreable. The Beast. And yeah, Gannon Burr is just unreal.
It's because all those par fours, while they are a little bit tricky off the tee, they're like 600 feet.
Yeah.
So you throw a good drive, or you throw rollers like he was throwing, and you're chipping up.
Well, also, hole 16 was one of the most. It played exactly how I expected.
So
it played
depressing.
One of the most depressing
so
changes of all time. Because
hole 17 is actually, like, thank goodness hole 17 is actually a pretty interesting hole because it's such a far, like, slanted par 3. Because 16 was such a bummer.
In their defense, they both birdied it, Ricky and Gannon down the stretch, but you do have to wonder confidence-wise, what does it look like if you know, like right now, if I miss this, I have a 35-footer for par.
Of course, guys are piecing it up. They don't have to worry about throwing the next shot from the same spot.
The day before, when Gannon was on his run to 12 under, which Ricky, by the way, actually holds the course record now. He shot 13 under final round.
He should have shot like 14 or 15.
Yeah, at least 14 under. He was at 14 on 18 before he went to be. But Gannon, when he was on his setting the current course record at 12 under, he threw OB on the tee shot of 16.
Yeah.
And it was like, okay, he's going to the drop zone 1, the first drop zone, which was like, this is the only way drama could happen on this hole is if you go to drop zone 1, miss there, and then go to drop zone 2, and like now you have a putt for bogey instead of for par. And it was like he made it look like the easiest forehand of all time.
Yeah.
And just pinned it, tapped out a par, and walked away. And he basically, the change on 16 sucked.
We're only going to see this course one more time ever.
Well, that's what I think this hurts extra. I think this has to hurt extra bad for Rick because this was his last chance at winning the European Open at the Beast. Like he's never won the European Open as a major, and this was his last shot at it at the historic venue.
It was even tougher getting brushed up on Rick's European Open history at the beginning of the coverage, watching him blow like 2 4-stroke leads to Paul in previous history, 2016 and 19, I think. So that didn't help either because you did think like. With Gannon's round, and because Ricky's round was insane, and with Gannon's round, first he misses the putt on what was the first one, 10, tells the crowd to shut up apparently.
Well, I did hear more context to this because he missed
something on purpose.
So he missed the putt, and it was a pretty bad missed putt. And after he missed the putt, he like said to the crowd as a whole, like, "Hey, can y'all please be quiet when I'm trying to putt?"
Yeah.
On coverage, you didn't hear anything.
Well,
that's all you heard was Gannon telling the crowd. So it kind of seemed like. And the commentary booth was like, sometimes that's the mind game you got to play with yourself is like, well, the crowd talking's while I missed that. Well, apparently someone on the ground said on Twitter that it was this wasn't their first time they had done it. And like when he was going down mid-putt, they coughed really loud as he was coming up. And then after that, the event team descended on them and escorted them off the property.
That is the word on the street at the moment.
So it was like purposeful.
So it seemed like it was purposeful and that was the last straw and they got kicked out of the tournament.
That'd probably wear me out too if I were trying to win a major as a 19-year-old.
Yeah.
I saw somebody tweet and was like...
It's just bothering you and you're like, if they do it one more time...
There was a tweet out there that was getting a lot of slack because some guy was like, Gannon telling 2,000 people behind him to shush while putting is just another reason why he's so hard to watch. And I'm like... It was okay. Yeah, he was frustrated. It was pretty subtle though, and he
also didn't say it before he putted.
Yeah, he's 19 years old trying to win a major. Like, cut him a little bit of slack. I don't think Gannon is that hard to root for. He's a pretty classy kid for a 19-year-old that's like trying to navigate disc golf. Like there are more hotheads out there than Gannon Burr.
I was watching the Open golf major that's going down at the same time, and Xander Schauffele.
Shout out Xander.
This is I just thought this was interesting because it was a similar situation. Not really, but similar. But in this situation, you have Gannon Burr getting the heat because he's telling the crowd, hey, can y'all please be quiet while I'm trying to putt? Xander has an up and down that realistically wasn't that important, but I mean, it's an important shot. He was in control and he was playing out of his mind, but he's like lining up and whatever it was distracts him and he steps off the ball and his caddy turns and yells to the crowd.
The caddies do it for him.
And yelled, quiet please, everyone. And so like, Xander is scotch-free in that. He didn't tell anyone to be quiet.
That's smart.
But it's like the same thing happened.
They also will tell the crowd to move if they need to. Yeah, the caddies.
Because like in disc golf, that's the player that's doing it. And so you instantly are like, oh, Gannon. But if his caddy would have said it, there would have been no heat on Gannon. Which I just thought that was an interesting, like I watched them both happen at the same time, and I see people on Twitter upset at Gannon, and obviously no one's upset at Xander. Also different sport, different things.
No, that's true. They have that advocate. I also heard, I don't know if you caught it on commentary, but I think they said Gannon was on the clock towards the end of that round.
They did, yeah.
They put him on the clock.
Well, he had a time warning.
Yeah.
Just a warning. He never ended up getting stroked for it, but he did have a time warning. And I was thinking on...
I was like, please give this guy a time stroke to like lose the major. Like, please do it.
Well, it was on. I think it was on 16 because he had the warning. I think on 16 he had already had the warning. They had said something about it, and he was taking his sweet time approaching the island. And I was like, can you imagine like if they call the time violation?
No
here
official
and he
would do it. Are you kidding me? With 3 holes left and he's leading the major, there's not an official on this planet that would.
The European Open official stood up to Nico.
That's true.
If anyone was going to, it's this guy.
That's true.
Yeah, he was ready.
Oh my gosh, that would be crazy.
But yeah, Gannon Bird took it down, and this is also
not so hard to figure out who the player of the year front runner is.
Yeah, because now I was thinking about that in the shower there, like yesterday morning, I think, or no, this morning had to be last night.
You're thinking about Gannon in the shower?
I was thinking about Gannon in the shower. No, I was thinking about like...
You mean you were thinking about Gannon while you were in the shower?
Yes, good. Thank you.
Good one, Konner. Good save.
Important ad there.
That sounds so much better.
But no, I was just thinking like, he now has 3 wins and a major, and I was thinking, how many wins does someone have to get to without a major to overtake that? And the number I came up to is 7.
Oh, I think 6.
Well, but only because it's Gannon and the consistency around it with the wins.
Let me be 6, and it would have to be like probably Rick, Calvin, or AB. One of those guys that is consistently pushing and
that's
playing
what I was thinking. AB, right? And if AB got to 6, and Gannon continued his average finishing and continuing in the top 5 all the time, the tough part then is you have a player who has a mate. Like in this scenario, AB doesn't get a major, right? Yeah. You then would have a player who would have 6 wins, but a way more up and down season, and a player who was just like always there, but consistently won and a major, which is what was the thing against Calvin last year.
So here's my logic though, and listen, this is just a subjective.
This is also very.
It's very subjective.
Well, it's also hypothetical.
Yes,
this hasn't happened.
While I do value obviously the major very heavily, and like when we're talking about versus Calvin last year. Calvin had 3 wins, so it's a little different for me when a player has like let's say Gannon had a win and a major and AB had 3 wins or 4 wins or whatever. Yeah. That's one thing, but when a player hits a certain threshold of wins where it's just like a historic season, like 6 wins on the Pro Tour would be such a crazy number that I'm willing to give a little bit of extra bonus credit to that because of just the sheer amount of it.
Calvin had 2 wins.
He had 2 wins and a silver.
2 wins and a silver. Yeah.
So I'm just saying whenever a player, like if AB were to get to 6 wins and it's such an absurd number to do on the Pro Tour, I'd give a little bit of extra credit, or if anybody did it, just because of how hard it is to win that many times on the Pro Tour. But I also would not be like, you're crazy for voting the 3 wins in a major against that.
Well, because in my head, a major's worth about 2 Elite Series wins. I've always held it about there. That's why, to me, you had Calvin with 2 wins last year, and you had Isaac Robinson with, in my head, 4 wins because he had 2 major wins. So that's why I was like, well, it's got to go to Isaac.
We've already seen, though, that people will vote the consistency.
When you look at Gannon, and if this scenario were to play out, right, you have someone with 5 wins versus someone with 6 wins. And the person with 5 wins has the major in there, right? Well, the 3 wins in a major, so 5 wins math-wise. Then I think the consistency argument I'm willing to lean towards a little more, assuming AB continued to be up and down.
Well, and the consistency, more than even just an argument.
But 7 wins, I think then the consistency doesn't matter to me anymore. Because like 7's like, okay, well, now it's over.
Yeah, at that point, you're just winning like a third of the season.
Exactly.
And that's consistency in itself. The thing about the consistency argument, though, is where like it helped Calvin more than anything, more than in the voters' eyes, is the Pro Tour standings. You get if you're Gannon and you're just consistently in the top 3, you're going to win the Pro Tour the regular season title, and that I think it's like 25% at least of the decision making. Yeah. So that alone is a huge factor. I mean, that's a very large chunk of things, because I think if you take that away from Calvin last year, it'd probably be a lot more close.
Well, I think Gannon Burr, with this win, realistically locked in as player of the year. It's going to be very hard for someone to beat him, because you also have to think USDGC doesn't factor into the Pro Tour player of the year. So even if someone were to go out and win it, that doesn't factor in their points.
It doesn't factor for the points, but it factors for all the voting.
But 25%, as you just said.
Yeah. No,
so like it's going to be very hard for someone to overtake Gannon points-wise.
At this point, he's got a very tough resume to beat.
Now, speaking of Calvin, these are the two examples of the monster shoot you out of the tournament. We had Calvin and Eagle. Perfect examples of how you could lose this at the monster. They both struggled out there. I think they're both pretty considerably over par. So by the time they got to the Beast, where they can both light it up, it didn't matter what they did. Calvin was able to get close to a top 20. He ended in, I think, 23rd with like a 10 under final round, but he lost by 22 strokes. And then Eagle McMahon, which we know what he can do out here, he ended at 2 under with a 6 under final round and 61st place. But it's because they both just came out flat.
Here's the thing about the European Open, and this is kind of my take on this, is I actually think that the monster taking over for the Beast in the European, if that's what's going to that's their plan, I think, for the European Open.
I would imagine.
So if that is the plan, I actually think what we're seeing is like the perfect evolution of a major, to where I think the Beast just kind of had its time, but I think it is a little bit outdated, and you see how easily it does score to the top players. It's had a lot of history. It's been great. I wouldn't be upset if they kept it on the tour, but obviously that's not in their option. So I think the monster, as I watched it, it feels like a really good evolution of, you're still getting that European style disc golf. A lot of the holes still remind you. It's a great course. I think it scores a bit tougher, and I think it's a great, whenever the European Open, let's say if we have it, in 2026 and it's just at that course, I'll be like, okay, European Open. I won't feel like the event has lost any amount of prestige. It'll feel great to me. Like I think other events could learn from that, in the sense that this transition, I think, is really smooth because they found such a great replacement course.
Well, what it did to me this year was European Open's always been one of my favorite events. The Beast has always been one of my favorite courses. But watching it play next to the monster, it felt so soft. I watched the Beast, and I was like, this sport has outgrown this course.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Because also watching it, and they're throwing over soccer fields and stuff like that. Like, I watched it, and for the first time, because before I held the Beast to a very high standard, I held this tournament to a very high standard, and I was like, nothing tops this.
Yeah,
it's crazy.
It's been passed by a little bit.
And then I watched the monster, and then right next to it, the same players go to the Beast, and I was watching the Beast finish, and I was like,
yeah,
I think
reverse order.
I was like, I think it's time. I think this course is done.
Yeah,
and obviously, Worlds next year will be its final send off. I think that the only thing the monster doesn't quite have is I don't think the monster has that finishing stretch. Which, to be fair, with the change of 16, the Beast doesn't either. But I think that's the one thing they still have to work out, because if you're finishing at the monster, I think that finishing stretch, especially like hole 18, the mound could cause drama. But I don't know if we want to roll away to be what wins or loses a tournament. I think they have to figure that out, but the evolution, I think you're spot on, of like, it would feel right. You still have the same feel of the tournament almost that you used to get, because players have just gotten too good for the Beast.
Yeah,
the sport's just evolved past.
We could be at a really good spot. If they, in my opinion on Champions Cup is, I think they should. I wish they would. I mean, certainly keep it in the woods. Now that we don't have WR. Like, honestly, I wouldn't hate if it was at Northwood every year. But, like, if we had Northwood, the monster for the European Open, and then Winthrop still plays tough, it realistically still eats people's lunch, that would be a really good three-course lineup for 3 majors that would be, like, competitive golf. Like, you can't just – it's not going to be that birdie or die type golf. I thought the scoring distribution at the monster was awesome. I love when the best rounds are coming in 7, 8, 9. Like, not double digits quite, but, like, if you're under par, you're in the mix. I love that style of golf, and I think all the majors should strive for that level, because you don't always want to see people get demoralized out there. But 5 under par, good round.
Also, I like USDGC in the fact that it can eat your lunch, but you can go out there and get 13, 14 under. I like having one.
Well, that's OB for you.
Yeah, I like having one major where you can shred it. Yeah. Like, you can go out to USDGC and you could average 12 under across all 4. But what I just wish Champions Cup. I think Champions Cup is a perfect candidate to rotate between like 3
just wooded courses.
Yeah. 3 really tough wooded courses. It's going to be such a flop
next year, man.
Yeah, the
Why
OTB,
on earth did they put it out there?
Open course for the Champions Cup will go down as one of the worst. It'll probably be changing hole 16's rules.
Do you think they're actually going to do it?
Open. I really hope they don't.
I don't think they will.
But it's been too long. I think they are this time.
It doesn't happen until April.
I think they're going to do it.
I think last time they changed things up like 3 times in the winter.
Yeah, I really hope they change it. It's just like worst decisions of all time for me.
Here we go.
When it comes to majors, the PDGA majors is number 1, changing hole 16 at the European Open bunker rule.
That one got to you.
That's number 1. Worst decision. Whoever made that decision should be fired, kicked off the board. I don't know who did it. They should be gone. They can make decisions for C tiers. I'm fine with that. They can't make decisions for majors anymore. You lost your credibility. Tier number 2 is putting Champions Cup at a non-wooded course. Like we finally had a really identity, because what I loved about it was you had USDGC was like the open course.
Yeah.
Right? It had that everything that the bombers can play really well out there. It's really challenging. It has the open aspect to disc golf. And then you finally had a major that's identity was the woods.
Yeah.
Andrew Presnell won that tournament fair and square, because that's that identity.
It's great. And
it highlighted both sides of disc golf. And then what I loved is you had European Open that highlights the European style of disc golf, great. And then Worlds had kind of evolved to where it needs to have a tough wooded track and an open track, so it challenges the best in the world, all of your skill set. That is a beautiful picture.
It's a beautiful picture. They finally had
something.
That is a disc golf utopia.
And then they took a sledgehammer and beat the snot out of Champions Cup and said, "Oh, you like your identity? I'm gonna make you unrecognizable."
The metaphor,
there you go. OTB
the
Open.
analogy is kind of like
Gross.
It's kind of like woods golf is like links golf in ball golf, because basically, the Open Championship, one of the cool things it does usually is revives links golf. You don't see it a ton other than that.
What does that mean, Trevor?
Link style golf is just a style of golf course. It's hard to describe. A lot of what they would call pothole bunkers, or there's a couple different names for them.
Imagine a bunker that you need a ladder
fescue grass
to get in and out of, and your average mortal is never getting out of it.
You get a lot of long fescue
hazards
grass. You get these rolling fairways that aren't just flat. It's a certain. You see them in the UK. That's it's kind of where golf was kind of founded. But they revive that a lot of times for the Open Championship that takes place over in Europe. And I feel like wooded golf might kind of be that way in disc golf, where it's been passed by a little bit. We still see it plenty of times at this point, but it's kind of gotten passed by. But the Champions Cup was kind of an event to revive it. Going to WR Jackson was it felt really throwback. It was old school disc golf, and they're just poop on that. We're not going to do it anymore.
What's your number 3, Hunter?
Give us our $70 for your pro membership and have fun taking 8th.
Number 3?
At a C tier, and there's only 8 people there.
My number 3 is getting rid of UDisc Live.
Oh.
And making people have to pay for UDisc Pro membership when you're a PDGA member.
Gosh, my number 3 is holes 1 through 3 OB.
That's number 4 probably.
Oh my gosh, dude! I'm just gonna go out and let's go out there and just flag it.
Let's just flag it every time.
Yeah,
every night we go out and flag it, and players get confused. They just think they're OB. The caddy book doesn't say.
Did you talk on Grip Block last week?
We'll
about
put a
what
rival company's
right
logo on the flags.
There we go.
Yeah, I wouldn't say which.
Did we?
one.
Did
we'll
you
put
guys
infinite amount of flags out there. We'll only use the best flags out there.
That's a savage.
What? Talk about the flags.
You're gonna know what the flags are like before you get them in the mail. Because we're
gonna have a really hard time
getting virtually in the ground.
Yeah, you're gonna have a really hard time getting the flags out of the ground because there's such a good foundation.
No, that's our company.
That's our company.
I was just making more puns.
Okay.
I just like the puns game.
No, but now it's our.
Did you guys talk on Grip Blocked about what we're talking about right now?
Yeah, we did last week.
Okay. I woke up in night sweats multiple times in the middle of the night this weekend, and it was mainly because a baby was crying. But my second thought was, I can't believe they're ruining New London.
Yeah,
they'll just scorched earth to everything.
Find a way to do it.
It's ridiculous.
They just want they want the sport to be easy, and I don't understand it. They don't want people to think.
Gosh,
I don't get that. I don't. God,
we're never playing OB on those holes.
I'm
again.
so angry.
By break 68 is
no, it's not exciting like that.
Or we can hold ourselves to a higher standard.
Yeah, we
That's
do
true.
hold ourselves to a higher
standard. We always play OB.
Oh, you guys playing Worlds OB or
you're playing the
Foundation
Worlds OB? Oh, okay. I didn't realize you're soft.
Yeah.
I gotta like that.
Yeah, I think I like
That's Big Hunt.
I think the hardo layout's the foundation layout.
If I'm caddying for AB and he throws one of that right stuff and be like, oh, you're good. Well, you wouldn't be if you're playing the real OB. But yeah.
If you're playing the foundation layout,
your little baby OB you're playing, that's fine. Yeah. You'll be all right over there.
I'm glad they softened the course for y'all coming in town.
Yeah. Just get kicked off the bag.
That's the other thing. They can't beat us. They're not playing the same layout.
That's true.
Good point.
That's true.
Yeah, we're undefeated on our layout, on the real layout.
On the real layout.
Yeah, you probably wouldn't have gotten a one wheel.
None of them even sniffed the OB, and we're just like, Well, like if it was there,
but it would have been in your head.
Yeah, you would feel the stress. Yeah.
It would have changed your disc selection.
Yeah.
You know,
you have no idea how hard this course is whenever you guys aren't in town.
Yeah, those first 3 holes, tough.
Tough.
I love how we immediately are like sometimes we go into other people's hometowns and they're showing us their courses and they give us like all of this background and stuff like that, and they're so passionate about it. I love how quickly we turn into those people.
Everybody does, man. We kind of just did the thing where we're like, we want our course to be like impossible.
I don't want our course to be impossible. That's just like that's the defense of New London.
It's not impossible. It's good.
Yeah, the
Those
problem is they
holes.
took something away from it. It's
Yeah,
not like we're not trying to add something
and it was like part of its identity.
Yeah, it's the whole thing that made New London is like, oh, well, the first 6 holes you got to deal with that right side.
I hope you're not a lefty. You'll die.
This happens on the Pro Tour all the time, and we will talk crap about a course, and then people will be like, that's not the course, and I sympathize with it.
That's what's about to happen.
Yeah.
They'll be like, how did these foundation guys ever say this course was hard?
How do you guys not birdie hole 1 and 3 all the time? Because there's usually a force field of fire on the right side.
Yeah, if you miss hole 10, because right now people are gonna have a 20-footer from the right side on hole 1. Mm-hmm. You can't have that.
You can't have it.
And on hole 3, the basket is on a cliff that goes towards OB.
Yeah, not anymore.
You little farts. They're gonna be throwing forehands off of hole 3.
Oh,
they're gonna skip
I see
30
somebody
feet
throw
to the
a
right.
forehand off of hole 3.
You wouldn't do that if it was a real course.
You can't do that. You're not allowed to do that.
Nate, Sexton, put that disc down right now.
Put that fire back in your back.
Because they're just gonna throw a forehand hyzer and then make a 40-footer right at the.
You're like, 6'3", dude. 6'3".
Oh, it's frustrating.
Fire me up.
That's gonna hurt me really bad.
Yeah.
Oh, whenever I see somebody who throw a forehand, overstable fairway driver.
What's gonna be funny is if someone who does that on like hole 3 and hits like a 45-footer from the right side OB wins worlds by 1, and we just claim them as not foundation
Put an
players.
asterisk on that one.
Yeah.
Oh, I hope that happens.
This is not but Ricky did go OB on 3. He just played from there. We all know that, right?
I'm
Everyone saw it.
everybody to exploit that as much as possible. Like hole 1, just rip a hyzer.
Just throw a hyzer line, guys.
Just rip it into the woods.
No, just throw a forehand on 1.
It'll come back.
Get an ace run forehand.
Yeah, it's a flex forehand on hole 1 now. Sick.
Yeah.
You
I think it's really
psychos.
funny. Now I can tell whenever I get worked up on the show because my camera starts shaking.
We're deep in this episode. We need to go over the Manufacturers Cup.
Man, you.
After the European Open, Discmania was able to extend their lead over Discraft with a 34 points from Gannon's win because majors are worth more. Nicholas and Gavin were also able to get into that top 10. Discraft was the only manufacturer to have 2 players in the top 5, with Macbeth and Dickerson ranking them second for the week with 25 points. And the Robinson brothers both landed in the top 10, allowing Prodigy to be the 5th manufacturer to reach 100 points for the year. So now Discmania is still in the lead at 423. Discraft's in second at 411. It's a 2-horse race. Innova's in third at 186. Dynamic has 168. Prodigy now has 105. Castplast at 77. DGA at 60. West Side at 56. Latitude at 54. And then ThoughtSpace Athletics, 45.5.
Isaac has had a slow start, but he's really just starting to have like the most what-if season ever right now. Like he just keeps coming. I feel like he keeps having top 10s like one after another.
Well, what's crazy is like the Ezra and Isaac Robinson, like because they both were in top 10 this week. They both just came top 10 in a major.
Yeah, they're a great duo. They're
incredible.
They're a great duo. Yeah.
All right, it's time for Trevor's Trivia, fan favorite segment. Right after these messages.
Me. What up, guys?
What's up, bro?
What's up, bros? Here's what we're doing today. We did this game once before. I thought it was a lot of fun. You guys won last time, so I was like, let's make it harder. It's the don't say the same thing game.
Okay.
So don't say the same thing.
So
we were good at this game.
The real rule is you
obviously
obviously can't discuss any strategy.
Konner,
let's discuss strategy really fast here. Think differently than me.
Okay.
Yeah, don't say the same thing as me.
Yeah. So there's 8 levels of this. Last time you guys literally beat them all. It was really impressive because it obviously gets harder, and the only rule is to not say the same thing.
Never got hard. So easy.
Well, the last one was name a major. So, and it had to be a current one. So like you literally had I don't know what the percentage is, but it was close. All right, level 1.
Yep.
And I will give you guys.
We're gonna mess up the first level.
I know.
I'll give you guys like 10 seconds, I guess, to come up.
Are we seeing how far we can go or how well we can do?
What's the
whenever
difference?
whenever you
like,
lose,
like
you're done.
We stop.
There's 8 levels. You gotta get through them all, or as soon as you lose one, you're done. So
It's gonna get real boring real fast.
Could be. Last time you made it through all 8. First one, name Discraft mold. So just let me know when you're ready.
I'm ready.
I'm ready.
3, 2, 1.
Hornet.
Impact. Nice.
Hornet.
We both went with out of production molds. That's scary.
Level 2, name an American FPO Pro Tour player.
Okay, I have mine.
3, 2, 1.
Macy Valadiaz.
What'd you say, Konner?
Paige Pierce.
All right.
I knew you weren't going to choose an obvious one.
Yeah.
So.
Sorry,
that's
strategy.
Sorry. I'm so sorry, Trevor.
Level 4.
Mr. Game Master, sir.
Level 4. Name a gateway mold.
Oh, no.
Okay, I have mine.
Yep, I got it.
3, 2, 1.
Wizard.
I just named one you knew didn't exist, or you thought you didn't know
I was about to go
existed.
G1. I was like, Konner might do that.
This is now for the next level, it starts to crank up a little bit here. Level 5.
By the way, the Gateway Karma is the most, criminal flight numbers of all time.
He has a positive 6 turn.
Yeah, it's fantastic.
Name
Not a fantastic disc. It's fantastic how bad the flight numbers are.
Name an 18-hole course in the Lynchburg-Bedford area.
18-hole course?
Yeah, in the Lynchburg-Bedford area.
Okay.
We good?
I'm ready.
3, 2, 1.
Hideaway.
Ooh, is that in Bedford?
Bedford County.
Wow, that was cheeky.
That was cheeky. You little cheekster.
Level 6. Name an Innova mold that has had Climo's name on it at some point, because I know he doesn't have them all anymore. Sold some of them.
Okay.
You ready?
Yeah.
3, 2, 1.
Gazelle.
AVR. Nice.
Gazelle.
Had
I
KC
did have
Pro.
KC.
Yeah.
He had the KC Pro.
Scary.
Level 7. Name a foundation podcast. Current foundation podcast.
Has to be current.
Yeah.
Okay. I have mine.
I have one.
3, 2, 1.
In the
Debate
bag.
night. I almost went with the off season, but I thought you might yell at me.
Well, it's not current.
Technically current,
It hasn't been canceled, but it's not
Exactly.
currently happening.
but it's a currently active
Well, technically,
podcast
In the
every
Bag
off-season.
isn't currently happening.
But we were fine. I went
Okay,
to
final
Monday.
level, hardest level. You guys are doing a good job. That one's close. Final level.
I like how we're getting frustrated with you and nothing wrong happened.
Well, I just almost said the off season. I was like, if I say the off season, Trevor's gonna try to end it.
I don't think I would have. I wouldn't have ended it, but I'd have been like, that was definitely a cheap answer.
That's why I didn't go with it.
I appreciate you.
He's not
level
cheap,
8.
he's expensive.
Name a trash panda mold. It's the final level.
Okay.
Okay.
A lot of confidence. 3, 2, 1.
Intercore.
No! I've been going obvious the whole time.
Yes. You've been going obvious the whole time. You literally guessed Monita.
Well, either obvious or ones that I knew was like.
I didn't pick up on that you were going obvious.
To be fair, you had literally, 3 choices?
Yeah, the Dune,
Intercore.
I did not pick up on that you were going obvious. I was just reading your mind and
I even
doing
went
what
wizard.
you said.
I went wizard for gateway mold.
Yeah, you're right.
Wow, almost made it all the way through. I'm glad I at least got
Dang.
you once.
Well, I mean, 1 out of 3 is tough. Yeah.
It is.
That's
It's what it takes.
It's near impossible.
It's what it takes.
Near impossible.
I was gonna say the Dune, but I forgot what it was called, and so I almost said Dome.
That's a Lone Star mold.
That is a Lone Star
True.
mold. All right, the PDGA Junior Disc Golf World Championships went down, and I mainly want to talk about this because I wanted to highlight. This is where you can always look at and see kind of the future talent of the sport. You know, Gannon Burr used to play in these things. Actually, a lot of current pros he's playing them, but
Yuli Berry.
got to talk about Ryan Mon. This Mon,
I know that name.
he's
gotta talk about
his
Ryan
brothers
Mon.
also played. I think he's
Is his
played on the
brother
Pro
Jake
Tour
Mon?
some. I believe so.
Then yeah, he's played on the Pro Tour.
Because I think he's also he played Des Moines
Okay.
and he played Ryan Mon.
his cousin
Yeah.
Cinnamon.
I think he might have played
enough out of you.
last year he
Sorry.
played Mid America, Deagle. So he's played some or Ledgestone. He's played some Pro Tour events, but he just ran away with this thing. He ended up winning Junior Worlds by 11 strokes over Harrison Young and Lauren Buterbog.
And also the people that he was beating are good disc golfers.
Yeah, no, there was some very high
and they rated well.
there was some very high level disc golf being played out here.
And also, how much under par was he, Hunter?
52 under.
52
Across 6 rounds, 5.5 rounds.
Still.
Yeah, no, he played phenomenal.
Dang.
It was kind of a shootout in FJ18. We had Kayla Hess win by 1
let's
over Ida Nice. But yeah, I really want to just highlight Ryan Mon. But I'm gonna read out the rest of the winners because
Shout him out.
why not? Austin Yoder took down MJ15. Therese Kuvas took down FJ15. Taniel Mihine, I believe is how you say him,
These names are tough.
took down MJ12. Eva Lucenko took
Holy
down
cow.
FJ12.
I guess it is Worlds.
Nico Forbes took down MJ10.
That's a name. Watch out for Nico Forbes.
Yeah.
Sarah Wadsworth ran away with FJ10.
Also a great name.
Cody Bucker took MJ8. and Keely Bain took down FJ8.
I was watching some of the MJ8 like highlights, and I was like, these kids are nuts.
Well, I looked at they posted the like distance thing, and the only one that we could have like had a shot at winning the highest level was MJ12.
The distance comp?
Yeah, they threw 408 feet on it. By the time you got to MJ15, they were over 500.
Yeah, that doesn't surprise me.
And
listen, I grew up playing baseball. As soon as these kids hit puberty, they can throw 90 miles an hour.
MJ18 was like 742 feet.
Well, yeah, they're grown men.
That's crazy. How much did Ryan?
Like we could beat a 12-year-old.
What were the 15-year-olds doing?
I think 5 something, like 550.
I mean, that doesn't like. Listen, by the time you get to high school baseball, there are kids who are freshmen that are throwing 80 miles an hour.
Yeah,
that's crazy.
Saying. Yeah.
I was looking down there.
That's just the cruel reality.
You just realize like we could throw a little bit farther than the 12-year-old.
We hit our arm strength potential once we get out of puberty, and at that point, all we can beat are prepubescent kids. Like that's it. That's the only chance we have.
How much did Ryan Mon win by?
Like 11.
Something like that, yeah.
Dang, 11, they let 12. Him eat. They should call him Pac-Mon.
I was wondering where you're going with that.
You're a punny guy today.
Yeah. All right, we're going to finish it off with a little Silas Select. But first, I got to tell you about this month's monthly subscription box. You definitely want to get in on this action. You still got about 9 days left to pick up on the Patriotic box. So this box comes with 3 premium discs.
Hey, let's throw in a little pitch. Let's say you and I are each going to throw a surprise disc into a box that gets ordered on this from a listener.
Yeah, okay. So if you put in your order notes grip locked.
Yeah.
If you're a first time subscription box buyer, and you put in your order notes grip locked, we'll throw in some type of disc. I'll see if we have enough stickers to throw a sticker in every one of those.
You're gonna get a bonus item.
And then we'll throw a sticker, something in every one that says grip locked. And Trevor and I will also throw in a random disc in 2 of them. So and Connor's also gonna throw one in. Just throw him in there.
Yeah. Even Silas maybe.
Silas might. Who knows? Silas might select something.
He might.
But this month is the Patriotic box. You get 2 custom stamp. One, actually, a guy at the tournament told me it's the one that's on an ESP Cicada. It's like this bald eagle. It's a 6 stamp. He told me it is his favorite foundation stamp we've ever run. He said it's not even close.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
So, yeah. It's a really cool stamp. And then another custom stamp. And then you also get a swag item each month. So each month you get 3 premium discs plus a swag item to your door each and every month, $45 US only. So head over to foundationdisc.com and you can find more information on the homepage, learn more about the subscription box, pick one up, and let us know.
Maybe I'll put my shark in the box.
Let us know Grip Locked sent you. So just write in the comments when you're placing your first order and say Grip Locked, and we'll throw something in there. I'll tell Jason and Brad, maybe some stickers, some discs, whatever. Something bonus is going to go in there. So cool. Shout out there. Silas Select time.
Yeah,
feels good. We're finally back in like our normal setup, so it really feels like a real competition again.
Yeah. Oh yeah. What would Silas pick?
I would like to pick the. I feel like I've already guessed this before, but maybe that's the strategy. Should I just guess the same thing every week until it happens? Is it the best?
I'm going with the pyro.
Ooh. Oh, you're a dog for that, brother. Woof. I'm going to take the pig.
Not a lot of peas.
But what do you guess? You can take a pig, but what do you guess?
You're silly.
Ha ha ha. I'm gonna go with.
Oh really? I'm just practicing.
I'm gonna go with a.
Isn't it so funny how hard like we all
think
about this and it just doesn't matter?
Yeah.
He just walked out there and grabbed one.
No, dude.
It's a
probably a Pepto-Bismol hat. Konner, man.
All right.
Just
no.
4.
It's a what's
3,
that? Hold on. Okay,
2,
can you help me real quick?
1.
What's
Konner
that? No. What's that one?
I gave you like 40 seconds.
Okay, it's Dagger.
It's
that other trilogy putter. I can't think of.
Dude, I wasn't gonna guess that, but my first thought today was both the Honor and the Trust. Like I was thinking Royal line. Oh, we got them both wrong.
I was gonna say I said the other trilogy putter. That's what I was talking about. So like I would have gotten it.
Which one were you trying to get? Like the Hope or the Grace?
It's that there's a bunch of one in the U section right now, so that's why. And it was one that I don't know very well, so that's why I was guessing.
Well, there you have it, ladies and gents.
Silas just knows how to get us, man. He's undefeated.
Undefeated.
We should keep track of his record.
Silas is so good at
It's probably like 10-0 at this point.
Silas is so freaking good.
He's so good at selecting.
He is amazing at selecting.
What a great selector.
He's such a good selector.
We'll talk to you next week.